4 realtors, 0 BS.
Tune in for the real deal on Dallas real estate.
Hey, what's up, guys? Back on Real Deals, Real Talk. Excited today to have Dylan Leyden here, good friend and my go-to title guy. So
What's up,
let's
guys? Happy to
jump
be
into
here.
it. Let him introduce himself. I guess I'll let my co-host introduce themselves again.
What's
but-
up? It's Chris Johnson,
Yeah, y'all know
co-host.
Chris. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Pickens here.
You know Charles. But hey, let's let Dylan introduce himself, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, my name is Dylan Leyden. I work for National Title. I'm very happy to be here, guys. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad we could finally get you on here. It took me forever to convince you to come on here. I don't know why you were so scared.
You know,
but-
good things come to those people that wait.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's the saying,
That's
right?
what Dylan always tells me, yes.
Amen.
But yeah, so we're gonna dive into some title stuff today, and we'll keep it fun. We'll do some fun stuff too, because Dylan's he's a goofy guy, whether he admit it or not. He's takes his work very seriously, but he's a goofy guy. But
Thanks, man.
yeah, you're welcome. You can't deny it either. I know you are.
I like to have fun.
Sorry for dipping out on Tuesday, but I hope the rest of the pod went
You close
well.
that deal.
we lost to an appraisal waiver, unfortunately.
Oh,
It's
So-
the thought
which
that
is
counts.
which is so out of pocket because our offer was so good. She even told me it was better, but I didn't expect an appraisal waiver in this market right now.
Hey.
So I don't know.
It's all right, man.
On to the next one. On to the next one.
Hey, at least you're keeping it real.
Yeah. I could have easily lied and said, "Fuck yeah, we got it," but I'm gonna keep it real.
hey, keeping it real. Love that. But Dylan, we always talk about here on here how real estate is our side of real estate can be sexy, but your side maybe not so much. So I don't know, but you might have a different opinion. So kind of tell us what role you play in the real estate transaction, kind of how realtors can use you to help their deals go more smoothly.
Well, I mean, my main thing that I really try to put out there is that title is title, but you got to work with someone who really cares about you and your business. So when it comes down to like my side of business, there can be clean closings, sloppy closings. There can be a lot of different things that go on throughout that transaction, but it's just very important. The one thing that I've always realized, if you communicate it proactively, then everybody's happy.
Yes, sir.
Communication's key. That was a quote from my high school basketball coach, and it works in life too. So always got to be communicating, because if you can't read someone's mind, so you got to be able to be communicative. And
Chris, I think you can read people's minds.
I wish I could, but I can kind of try to predict.
Sometimes I feel like Chris is reading my mind. I don't know.
Sometimes I do, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, communication's key. That's always helpful for a seamless transaction.
Yeah.
So, what exactly does title do? You know?
You know, it's so funny about that question, Charles, is that if I wasn't working in title, I probably wouldn't know that answer. Because title company, a lot of people, if you haven't bought and sold a house, no one really knows what it is. So realistically, an easy way to look at it is there's a liens on almost every property that is on the market, right? You have a mortgage, maybe you took out a secondary mortgage, maybe you have some maintenance or anything that is tied to your property. And the one thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to convey you a property, meaning we're going to facilitate you a property where everything is clean. So there's all those liens, all that have to be off of title and off of the property in general when we go and put the title policy from one person to the next, or that would be on us. So if anything was missed, it would be on the title policy, and that's where the insurance claim would come in.
Also, so what's the difference between having a lien, like a contractor's lien, right? Somebody did some work on a property and they're like, you still own this contractor $25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that can be paid out by the proceeds of the sale, or does that have to be a cash payment before you close the home?
You can definitely pay that off at closing. That's probably the easiest way, because a lot of people don't have that $25,000.
Right, exactly.
And so that's a great question, because a lot of people run into that. But at that point, we'll let you pay it off with your proceeds, and they're not going to have an issue with that at all.
Okay, that's good to know, because I know a lot of people who are doing rehabs, a lot of contractors work in the thirds
Yes, they
rule.
do.
So they give you a third up front.
Yep.
They're doing the job. They need their other third to complete the job, and then once the job's over, they get their other third and they get the rest. And there's a lot of discrepancy because like owners are like, you didn't do this the way I wanted it to, or this shit doesn't look like how I wanted it to, and they're like, I'm not paying you, and they're like, well, I can't do anything until you pay me.
Well, a lot of that stuff is handed, like the third rule. That's actually how I've done a lot of my work.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff is under the table. It's just straight pocket. So that kind of portion would be paid before closing. So like, for example, if you're using like an actual company, all that, and they have an actual lien on your property.
They would have to go file that.
Yeah, they would have to file the lien. The payment you're talking about, that would probably be handled before title or aside from title. But if there's a lien that like a not paid on there, we won't allow you to close on that house
Until
unless
it's
it's
taken
paid
care
off.
of. Okay,
Yes, sir.
gotcha.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Don't take his work very seriously. He'll make sure though that everything's clean before.
He's
before
quick.
He's quick. He is very quick.
He's quick
yes.
with it.
He is very quick with it. Yes, sir.
So-
Always.
So why is title insurance necessary, and like what does it protect against?
So the first thing I want to say is title insurance is not actually needed to close a property. You can close a property without title insurance.
Okay.
Now, when you do close a property without title insurance, you're going to run into major issues when you try to sell that property because there's going to be a gap in title. So let's say you sold a property in 2010 and you bought it without title insurance. Buying without title insurance is as simple as me literally sending you the money and you sign over a warranty deed. That's as simple as it is. But after that kind of aspect, there really isn't I guess when it comes back down to another policy, I lost what I was going on that one.
I guess kind of what I was thinking about what Charles was saying is like, you can buy a house without going through a title company, right?
Yeah, so I could buy your house right now through a policy, and then let's say 10 more years later, you want to resell that property. The titles in the title commitment, all the report that we pull out, we're going to see specifically that gap from those 10 years was not insured by a title policy, and we're going to backtrack, and that's going to make your sale almost next to impossible versus just having a policy and then transfer from one to the next. Way different.
So I guess, okay, I'm still a little confused. What is the policy doing? Is it for the service of getting all the paperwork together?
Yeah, so when you close at a title company, you get an actual policy. In that policy is your insurance. You make sure that you, let's say you close on that property and they missed a $25,000 construction loan, a lien, whatever it is. Now the title company has to pay that. So that's
Gotcha.
why that's the insurance aspect. Anything missed by title when we go to issue our policy
Oh, I see what you're
would
saying.
be on us.
Okay, so if I went to go sell, you guys missed it. I didn't use a title policy, and then when I sell it again, that's going to be on me.
100%, but I'm saying anytime you don't use a title policy, it's going to be directly, you're taking on everything that's on that existing property as is.
That's why you guys do all the back end research and make sure
We're
it's
going
clean.
back about 30 years on the title.
Okay.
And longer if the house is even farther back than that.
I've gotten a lot of questions about this too. People want to know what is a deed.
So a deed, there's multiple different kinds of deeds, but I'll go over the basic one you're probably asking is a general warranty deed. It's just simply a document that says you own X, Y, and Z property. And if you want to, let's say you want to give that property to Cameron just because you're a great guy.
Yeah.
You can literally just sign off. Yeah, no, give it to Charles.
Deed the
instead.
property to somebody.
But you can literally just sign it and it redeeds just like that.
So that how you could sell a house with just one deed and that's it?
You could do that without the title insurance
Okay,
policy.
gotcha.
Because you're just exchanging the ownership of property for X, Y, and Z cash.
Okay, that makes sense. I think title is something that not a lot of people talk about. It's not.
I'm trying not to be too in depth where it's like
No.
actually, but like I'm trying to just because I want
Basic
everyone to understand it. Yeah.
I think most people, they deal with a lender and a realtor, for the most part.
I don't really see the title side
Yeah.
of it. Yeah.
I mean, you guys are kind of in the background. You usually talk on phone calls and emails. You don't necessarily see you guys until you go to the closing table on closing day. And people just probably aren't necessarily asking as many questions as they could because they just don't know.
And to answer your question, Charles, really the title company's role is to facilitate a closing from A and B, from maybe even C and D, whatever. But really just to make sure that everybody has their ducks in a row and that when you have no liability once you buy that property.
Okay.
That's the best way I look at it.
Makes
what's
sense.
what's the most common thing you see that delays closings?
Well, I'm going to start with the first one. The most annoying thing
Well,
is
yeah.
solar.
Solar.
Oh my God!
I had to deal with that on a deal.
Fucks.
not
I
too-
mean,
yeah.
I'm down for saving the planet, but they're a bitch to deal with.
There's a difference between saving the planet and just wasting people's money.
Yeah.
These door-to-door salesmen have no idea what they're doing to people. It's like they're getting in there like, oh, you can save your electric bill a couple $100, and sure, maybe you can. I don't even know if you can or can't.
No.
But let's say you can. The difference is when you go to sell that property, that lien is going to be like an $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 lien,
Yeah.
and you're not going to have it nearly paid off unless you had that house for X I don't know, 20 years.
Can you transfer the lien to the new owner?
If
can.
they'll accept it,
accept
but
it.
the
I
chance
just-
they accepted
That
it.
short sale I did, they had solar panels on their house, and we had to
Oh.
transfer. Yeah, they had to transfer the policy from Tesla over to from the owner from the seller to the buyer, and it was
It's basically like a new mortgage.
it kind of
it's like a secondary one.
Whether
yeah.
you're doing
kind of yeah.
or what's the other mortgage for rehab? It's 203B or what is it?
That sounds right, I believe.
203K or something like
Yeah.
that. But that's like if you're
203
doing a
something.
rehab model and there's another mortgage. So it's basically just like another mortgage, like you're paying off a 30-year note for these panels.
And no one knows what they're getting into.
Right.
And once you sign that paperwork with that door-to-door salesman, you're screwed.
Yeah. I don't even know if like you said, I don't even know if it's worth it or not. But yeah, I see people do that, and it's like, oh, there's solar panels on the roof. It's like that just becomes a sticky situation when you're trying to close.
But other than that, I mean, typical delays, I would say, is probably, I really only see them, I've seen them recently on the lender side, nothing against lenders, but I guess getting all the paperwork in order.
Yeah, financing.
Because the title side is not like, it's not like we don't have a lot of work to do, but realistically, we're just pulling the title, we're going in a processed way. So once the actual lender has all their stuff ready, we're usually ready to go. And the few outlying circumstances could be, we're missing X, Y, and Z documents from somebody before we can close.
Okay, so pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, we're not talking about investment real estate yet.
No, not yet.
For buyers, what are a few red flags to look out for?
Well, I
guess,
mean,
during title review.
in terms of buying, so if you're using, let's say you're buying a property and you're not using an agent, because the agent really is going to be more familiarized with their title company. Realistically, they need to, there's a title commitment that is sent out, and that kind of goes over, if you look at Schedule C, that's really the important stuff that you have to look at. And if you look at every single thing on there that's needed and owed and all that stuff, that's really all that matters when you go into buying a product, because you're getting a title policy in the day, so you're not worried if anything was missed on the title side, because it's going to get taken care of. But that's not, we don't want it to get to that situation.
Right.
But I think from just a specific buyer's perspective, they just need to understand the importance of title and why without it, you could be in a lot of problems.
I had a question. What's the first thing you do when you receive a new contract, an executed contract?
That's my most favorite part of my day. Is I always say,
I open a bottle of tequila and I get to work.
and I just slam it right there.
Boom, one zug.
I'm like, oh, my life is complete now. No, so as soon as I get the deal, as I get my hopefully first deal from Chris over here soon.
It's coming.
So my first thing is I really want to get that deal opened and everyone get communication. I'm talking about within seconds. Granted, it might be a couple minutes,
Sure.
but my thing is I want everyone to know how much I'm excited for everybody. So my first thing is I respond right away. And if it's with my team already copied, then I let them submit it and they get the deals going. We get wiring instructions out as soon as possible because we know everyone wants to deposit the EMD right away.
Right.
But from that perspective, I think everyone wonders what happens after that fact. So that's when we go into the actual, what a title company does. We go back on the property 30 years, we determine all of our liens, judgments, anything against the property, and then we have an underwriter that we have 7 underwriters. So once we have us, we send it to an underwriter for approval. They'll say, no, we need X, Y, and Z documents. And then once we get X, Y, and Z documents, they'll give us our clear to close. We go back and then we'll tell the clients and we'll set up closings.
And is that, who's the timeline on the most for that 30-day close? Is it mostly Lender? Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys can do your stuff like within 4
I
or
would
5
say
days?
if you give me a deal with no significant issues, we could probably close in 48 to 72 hours.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So it's mainly all Lender.
Yeah,
That
but
makes
but that being said, it's all about the teamwork between the lender and title.
Right. Makes sense.
I just think the lenders, they have way more things to go through on the financing period
Right.
than we really do, because we're just kind of taking their documents, balancing a CD, and moving forward.
I mean, yeah, they got to make sure that they can hand out these funds,
Let me answer that question a little better. So within that 30-day period, I can't tell you how many times they've moved up closing, and that's because the lender's like, we're clear to close. Are you good? So then we're just moving up our closing date.
I like to
with them.
hear that.
Yeah, I like that.
What's your quickest close?
I've done a 24-hour close.
Oh,
Wow.
I did a 24-hour close.
Cash
Telling you,
deal?
he's good.
It was
though, he's good.
actually a deal that was at a different title company, and we're talking about 2 years ago. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not saying we can't do it again. I'm just
Sure.
saying it was at another title company, and they couldn't close it or insure it for whatever reason, and we were able to bring it in, flip the title commitment, and get it closed within 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that was
That's
a
what you
one-off.
get when you work at Dylan. You get 24-hour
Well,
closes.
no, it's not what you get with Dylan for 24-hour closes.
Everybody come to him for 24-hour
No.
closes.
My thing is, it's like that particular situation had to be done at the exact time. You know, the thing is, if I tell every single client that I can close a deal in a day, I know we're just joking around, but I'm like, so what happened is, the examiner, they have to put everything away and just specifically do that one file.
Right.
So that time, it made sense to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
They had to focus on that and ignore.
But I would
everything
say,
else.
genuinely, if you a DFW deal, a clear title, I mean, you can easily close within a week, no problem.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
That's what separates yourself from others. I mean, I don't know if you ever had this happen, but I closed a investment property. It was like a couple $100,000 in Garland, and the title company I had never heard of. It was my investor's title company. It was a cash deal.
Mm-hmm.
It was a burn house, and they paid me over like 3 or 4 days. Like I
They
was
just
Spread out the
commission?
payments. Is
yeah,
that what you're
my
saying?
commission was normal 3%, but I got like a wire one day for like a quarter. Then the next day I got like a little bit, and then like the rest in like the other day, and it was like 3 different wire transfers, and I've never had that happen before.
Interesting. I've never heard that either.
I hope that never happens to you again.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, because so if it's on the HUD, the final amount, if you're getting, let's say 15,000, you shouldn't get 555.
yeah, yeah. I
That
don't know.
doesn't make any sense to me. That's not how
It happened with
operate.
me. I don't even remember the title
No,
company.
I'm not gonna go here and just demonize the enemy. I have absolutely no idea what that scenario was, but
It was a 7-day close.
I can't tell you that we've ever paid someone out 3 separate ways.
Yeah.
We're just trying to like give you a little bit at a time. You know?
yeah. I mean, it was cool. I was getting deposits every
Yeah, like
every
it's
day.
cool, but it's like I could have had this.
Yeah, I could have had it all at once.
All right, Cameron wants to ask a question.
Do I?
Cameron's eager. I can tell.
He's
What
just-
are you thinking, Cameron? The gears are churning. Wait. Why did you move to Texas?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're from Rhode Island, right?
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, okay. So a little bit about me. I grew up on a big Christmas tree farm out in West Greenwich, Rhode Island.
Oh, wow.
It's number 2 Christmas tree farm in the country called Big John Leyden's Christmas Tree Farm. That's my actual number 1 passion. Title's second. And
Big Christmas guy.
I love Christmas trees.
I
the
love
spirit.
Christmas. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Christmas guy. I love Christmas.
I believe in this saying. This goes back 80 years. What I'm about to say. Real trees for real people.
There you go.
That's my
Okay.
grandpa's Big John. We named
you
it
go.
Big John Leyden, so that's him. So
Okay.
So I went to school in Florida and studied economics and professional sales. I knew I wanted to be in sales. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but all I knew is I didn't want to be a cold calling guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to go and meet people, engage, and actually just build relationships, genuine relationship. So I didn't know what title was. I went on my dad's LinkedIn, sent out 500 messages to an old. Just the elevator pitch of his old people that he knew in his network, and 2 people responded out of 500.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a numbers
a lot of
game.
people really liked my dad, I guess. Just kidding. But one wanted me to sell Red Bull in Maine, which I actually really liked the idea because, I mean, look at me, I'm a charged up energizer bunny, you know? But it didn't really make sense because they weren't paying me any cash. So I was like, okay. And then my dad's like, well, he did appraisals and title, but more on a consumer direct, so like going to like big banks like Flagstar and all that. And it's more of they hit the button and it kind of rotates like that.
Okay.
So it was a little different than what I did, but the other person that responded was the old CEO of Boston National Title.
Okay.
And he and my dad worked together like 30 years ago.
Wow.
So, but they had a great relationship. They did a lot of good deals
So your
together.
dad was in title.
Yeah, but just a little, not in Texas. They all in Rhode Island.
Sure, but he's still in the business.
That's 100% the reason I jumped
Okay,
into it.
gotcha.
He's the father of my dad's footsteps, but I want to kick his ass at the same time. So so that's I kind of got in here. I met my Danny Helms, who's my boss. He's my mentor. And
Great guy.
Yeah, I love Danny.
So was the other option to come to Texas?
Yeah, so but it was really a sales remote job at first, and then the guy I was talking to was the COO. The CEO, John Carrasas, said that if you want to go and work, you got to be here in person.
Right.
So I'm like,
You're like,
okay,
oh, shit, I'm moving
Rhode
to
Island
Texas.
boy moving to Texas, you know?
Okay.
And I was like, so I knew nobody here. I didn't know what a real estate contract was. I didn't know what a lender was. I didn't know anything about the industry. All I knew is I love people.
Diving in.
Yeah, so my boss first time, I didn't know it was my interview. He's bringing me out to like a nice place, D Lincoln out in Frisco, and there's a little cave down there, and we're just chit chatting. And he's like talking about titles. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. But then there's like a guy talking about some like famous athlete to the left. So I just go over and just make myself at home, start talking to him. And the guy didn't believe the guy knew him. He called him on the phone. It was a pretty cool little scenario. And I found out that's why I got my job.
No way.
So I didn't really realize that, and I'm like thinking to myself, I never know why I got hired.
Wow.
But Danny just is a little different breed, and he's helped cultivate me like to a new level of where I'm very business organized now, and
Say he's your mentor.
he's wherever Danny goes, I go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
So
Great guy.
how do you feel about Texas being here now 4 years?
I absolutely will never leave Texas.
Yeah.
Now the one thing is, I just got back from the Caribbean. Caribbean's a little better than Texas.
Hey, no argument there.
What part?
I went to St. Kitts.
Okay.
Went to St. Kitts. I've been to St. Martin a bunch. I'm not big on the other traveling. I like the Caribbean.
That's cool.
I want to be an island man, you know.
Island man.
Island
yes.
brother.
Yeah, not an island boy though. Not doing that.
Not an island boy.
Not doing that shit.
Not an island boy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad you're enjoying Dallas and Texas as a whole. I mean, we talked about in the last episode or a couple episodes ago that DFW is the #1 fastest growing metroplex in the nation. So
Well, I'm here specifically for work. Yeah.
exactly.
but,
I mean, you had no problem being here, finding new business. I mean, there's opportunities everywhere. You know, there's so many. We did a podcast alone maybe 3 episodes ago about just everything that's coming here. They got Goldman Sachs building, Universal Studios, the PGA
Stock
Championship,
Exchange.
Stock Exchange, Frisco.
developments.
There's so many
lot
things
of
coming here.
development.
So you're never going to run out of opportunities to work with people, and it's the best place to network. I mean, you can go to any restaurant, bar in Frisco, Dallas, to go meet somebody and strike up a conversation, and then boom, you got another client or potential opportunity to do business in the future. So
I was always told that because going into a new area where I knew nobody, he was like, my dad said you can either watch it happen or you can make it happen.
I love that.
There
And
you go.
my thing is, I was like, you know what, like, what's the worst? But it's funny is I remember my first ever networking event like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually been that nervous in my life.
Yeah, really?
Now, Cameron will say I can go to any single event, I'll talk to Donnie Trump, won't give a shit, you know.
Yeah.
but the first thing in there, I'm like, hi, my name's Dylan Leyden. I sell title insurance.
Yeah.
And they were just like, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, cool. And I was like,
Nice, bro.
oh, good. Fuck me. You know?
Yeah. I'll just go fuck myself.
Yeah. But my thing was, I randomly, I always found the one guy who was not chatting to anyone. He was in like wealth management or something like that. And he's just like, dude, it's all relationship based. You got to just go out there, relax. And it took me a little time, but I will tell you that once I understood the fact that it's not like hey, you need title. It's like, how are you?
How can I help you?
How are you doing? How's everything going with you? How's your family doing?
Yeah.
You know? So I realized
Dylan's very personable, you know.
so I genuinely, I cannot work with someone if I don't know them.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't ask for business because we haven't built that trust, that
Yeah.
relationship.
Right.
And I believe the NTGs, they're going to kill me if I say this wrong. It's like trust builds relationships, relationships build business.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I swear, I think I said it right.
No, I totally believe that.
Forgive him, Danny.
I mean,
nail me.
but the best advice my mentor gave me, and he came on our podcast like about a month ago. He said, "Love on your people," which means that stay in touch with your people, even past clients. How are they doing? When's their birthdays? Give them a birthday card. Give them a Christmas card. Ask about their family, their
How's
children.
your quality of life?
And stay relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stay relevant. How's everything doing? And then other things will follow. They know that you're a realtor. They know you're in real estate. You don't need to press upon that. You simply need to stay in touch and
that
talk to your
relationship.
people and build a relationship saying, I'm a genuine person who cares about you and I want you to be happy and healthy. And if there's anything you need, they know that they can reach out to you. So like now I know he's in title. I've gotten to know him over the last 24 minutes. I know that we're gonna probably go play golf sometime.
Damn right we
we're
are.
probably gonna get to know each other. We're
I'm gonna
probably
beat you, Chris.
We're probably gonna go have some drinks after, or maybe on the course. And then I know that hey, besides the title work, I already know he's got that done. I know I can trust him with title. Now it's just about building another relationship, and
Exactly.
that is something that you got to continue to do at all facets of the
Well
industry.
said, Chris.
And we, advise to all of you that listen to Real Deals, Real Podcasts, to just keep on being a personable person and just, work on your relationships. All these stuff's important,
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people are not that they're scared to be themselves. I think they're worried about what other people will judge and all that. And personally, I mean, I might be a little different, but I just never really understood why other people would care, because unless it's like your close friends, family, a loved one, what's going to change?
People judge and are afraid of change, and
Right.
so when people get scared of change, they start to judge it.
Yeah.
Just like we make cheesy real estate clips on Instagram. Come look at this house. We're making videos and stuff like. that for
I
me
make
was a
cheese
little
out.
funny coming from, I was in a fraternity and like
Oh,
just
that's
like one of
awesome.
the guys, and it's
Yeah.
like now I'm over here in Dallas, like come
I
tour
don't
this
care.
house with me, and they're like, and it's a little cheesy and stuff, and so it's like stuff like that is like, just a little bit. What do you need? Oh yeah. Stuff like that is like, yeah, you got to put yourself out there, and if you don't, you're like you said, you got to go make it happen, and you kind of really can't give a fuck what people think, because I know some of my friends have like laughed at some of my videos. I'm like, I don't give a fuck,
I know
man.
they have to.
Like,
I was telling
I'm like, I know it's cheesy. I know that.
That's actually my favorite thing about Cameron is he's very unique and he doesn't care.
No, I could care less. I just.
But with him,
But I think it's
him
funny.
barking like a fucking dog
Yeah.
out there, dude, I was on the ground
know.
rolling, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I love that shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
The
okay,
Hawk Tua things.
Yeah.
There's little things like that, man, that like it's freaking hilarious.
I mean-
and it's like a captivating.
you can go laugh all you want. If this is working for me and I'm getting business, cool, go laugh at me. I just sold a house and made $10,000 this month or more. It's like, who cares if it's cheesy or goofy? It's like you got to put yourself out. Even doing this podcast, I didn't know what was going to come from it. I was putting ourselves out on the internet, and everybody was going to see this stuff, and it's like. No, some of my friends are like, "Oh, we actually really like it. It's actually really cool." And it's like it's funny at times, and it's informative, but like you never know until you don't try. It's like,
Until they're like, who's this asshole Dylan?
what's that say? It's like you miss all the shots you don't take. Like you got to go swing, and
Yeah.
What is that? Wayne
was,
Gretzky?
that was
or-
Danny Helm's advice. He said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? He was right.
Yeah, so you
You
got to
miss them all if you don't shoot.
You got to go put yourself out there, 100%.
No, yesterday I was having coffee with a gentleman and telling him about the podcast, and he's like, "Dude, I've been wanting to do a podcast," and I just sat him down and I said, "Really, dude? The key steps to all of it is just getting started." And
You gotta
that's
just
where
do it.
most
You gotta
most
just do
people
it.
mess up every time in every aspect. They don't know how to get started.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, what was the other thing? Damn, I had it on the
Come
tip
on,
of my
Chris.
tongue. I forgot.
Come on, wake up,
I
Chris.
just blanked.
Wake up! Come on, get your head out of your ass.
Brother, my head has been all over the place last 2 weeks.
Deep lodged.
I don't want to know where it's been. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Let's go to another
My
question.
my brain's fried.
I don't want.
Brain's
Yeah,
fried.
before we get too deep into where your head's been, let's just let's
move on.
dive into the next question. Yeah, what's one thing you wish every real estate agent or client knew before closing day?
That's a great question. So I mean, I guess I just wish. So the only issue I guess I have, and this is true, is a lot of lenders like to point fingers. Whether it's like I'm not saying that in a negative way or anything like that, because they have to take care of their client. But I think a lot of the situation comes down to I wish that some agents knew the process of title, because it's really not on, like, for us to delay a closing with, like, for no reason is pretty abnormal.
Right.
So I think a big thing is that I like to really work as a team, and if they work as a team with whatever title partner they work, I guarantee it's gonna help them and their business tremendously.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good point.
Working as a unit, everyone. We're all
I
the same.
I
end
look at it
goal.
as a team.
Yeah,
I'm all of my clients. If you work with me, I have pom poms. I go crazy in the background. I love this shit.
We're taking a photo.
I love it.
Giving you
I
a
get
closing
so
gift.
hyped up for my people. I love to celebrate big moments because I know how much it takes to get into these scenarios. I know how much effort it takes.
Right.
And I think that's overlooked by a lot of people on the title side.
I like
Because
seeing
the thing is before title's even brought into the play, you have a new buyer, and you have a new buyer, you have a lender, you have
Tell me
insurance
about it.
people, and then you have another side of the transaction. And then all of that happened before we even touch it.
Exactly.
So my thing is, all I really want to do is not screw it up.
Right.
Dude, I love that.
That's
'Cause
really
you're,
all
you're
it
right,
is.
because everybody's worked so fucking hard to get to even talk to you at the first step.
And that's how excited I am. I'm like, they came to me
They
after
did
all
it.
this shit.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
So now I'm just thinking, like, how do we make sure that everybody's taken care of? Because what a lot of title companies do is they really focus on the person that brought them the business. I focus on the opposite.
Yeah.
I focus on the other people so they have a great transaction, because the people that I'm working with already know how we work. But the other people don't, and they probably didn't want to use that title company. They probably want to use their preferred title company.
Right.
So my goal is to make both of the agents me as their preferred company.
Right, exactly. They're like, wow, I had another person in mind. I'm going with this other agent's
Yes.
preferred title. I don't know them. Then
I
you
don't
can-
want to work with them.
Then you have the chance to win them over, and get future business. I've had that happen.
And even if I don't win their business over, all I really care about in that moment is giving them the transaction of their life.
Yeah,
Whether that is just they need great communication, they need a hug. I don't give a shit.
I just put down $100,000. Give me a hug, please.
Yeah, please.
It's gone.
So-
I'm broke again.
How does title differ between like residential and commercial sales?
So title is actually extremely different, residential, commercial. There's a lot more that goes into it. The type of commitment that we issue, like there's a title commitment, it will be a pro forma.
Okay.
So like it's a lot. There's a lot more moving parts, if you want to say, on title for commercial. Like, so if you look at a general email thread, right, on residential, you have the buyer. Let's say everybody was hanging out together: buyer, seller, 2 agents, and a lender, right?
Okay.
On commercial, you're gonna have 20 people.
Ooh.
You're gonna have this lawyer, that lawyer, this person. You're gonna have the important people on almost the entire company on there. So you're gonna have about 20 people about there.
Holy
and
crap.
the main difference, if you want to look at it, is it's usually a lot longer closing period.
Okay.
Because commercial can deal with the actual business side as well. So like if you're buying a restaurant, you might be buying the real estate, but you're also buying the business. So that's a separate kind of part of it. So I mean, that's really what it takes more eyes on. It's definitely more work on the title side in my eyes. Residential is pretty black and white.
Yeah.
But commercial is, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different people bring in money from a lot of different places.
I got a
Makes
question
sense.
about surveys. When you have a survey and the property's got encroachment, or if it's easement, where it's showing some of the other side or the other person's property coming into your side, is that going to show their encroachment or their easement on the survey?
It easily could.
And you just have to be okay with that, or you have to address it and say, well, this is our land and you're on it.
Yeah, so it could come down to having to replat it and resurface it, and not resurvey it. Sorry, not resurface. And but realistically, it comes down to if the underwriter to prove it or not.
Okay, so they're the
But
final say.
in that situation, let's say you buy a house and you put in a new deck or a patio outside, new survey.
Yeah,
Any
yeah,
structural changes.
No, yeah. I know that. I guess I was
Did you know
talking.
that?
I was talking about if it's like something on someone else's property is slowly encroaching, like maybe I don't know. There's been situations,
like trees.
trees or something that's coming onto their property slowly, and it's not their property, and so they're on your side. Is that something where the title company is going to be like, hey, I need a survey showing that this is like your property because they're on yours?
So I've actually dealt with one similar situation.
It's a weird question.
But it's funny because I had a client bring me a house and they bought, fixed up, did everything like that, and their survey, like where they were building some of their stuff, was actually another person's property.
There you go.
So in that situation, if I'm being completely honest with you, that deal did not close.
Yeah.
So that I don't exactly remember what would happen, but if it's the other way, where if you're selling a property and the buyer is encroaching on you a little bit, I'm sure you could it might even be as simple as having to talk to the buyer.
Right.
I don't know if it's not like something we would handle really legally through title.
Okay.
That's more of a
Realtor situation. With
not really realtor. That's going to be more of the actual survey themselves, who actually came out and took it.
surveyor.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
Makes sense.
because we didn't make that original mistake. They did.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What should investors or developers pay close attention to when buying land or commercial properties?
The restrictions.
Yeah.
The restrictions.
and
Like
like
purpose?
zonings and
The
stuff.
building restrictions,
Yeah.
and then what is zoned for residential, commercial, mixed use. But just to let you all know, I can pull those restrictions in seconds.
There you go.
Oh.
So you're saying like, can you build 2 duplexes on this plot?
I can find out.
Right. Or can I build, a fucking restaurant?
But do that before you buy it.
Right.
Do that
Right.
before you go.
Find
on
out
the
what
contract.
it's for before.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's another reason why you want to have a strong partner on the title side, because they have access to that information. What happens is the examiners that do all the title work and the clear title and all that, they actually are able to pull that directly from the
Do
county.
you guys run clue reports?
I'm sure we do. I don't know what clue reports are.
Or maybe that's a lender. I think it's it's insurance. That's what it is. Lily. Never mind.
We try to do everything though.
Yeah. No. That was an insurance question. We might call you in live in the future because
okay.
we called Lily in live.
Yeah, Astra insurance question.
She was put up to the mic on the spot.
I would hate that.
she killed it. She killed it.
I mean, you shouldn't have much choice there.
Yeah, I know.
Would you say y'all see more remote closings now since like 2020, or do you think it's kind of coming back towards more in person, or is it kind of a mix of both? Kind of how has that affected?
Well, I got into the
Closing.
business in January of 2021, so
Yeah.
That was more so that time.
So that was obviously where
Mobile notaries.
I think mobile notaries were kind of introduced. And I could be wrong, it could have been before them, but to my understanding, COVID was the reason for them.
Right.
And honestly, it's the best thing ever because it should always be around, because if you are, like, I had a client close the other day, he was traveling to the Masters for golf. Badass.
Lucky dog, dude.
Proud of him. And so, I mean, he signed a deal right outside the property of the Augusta.
Wow.
Like, that's
That's
the most
pretty badass.
memorable moment you can ever have, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Especially-
that's pretty cool, but like, for example, I worked, a lot of the sellers in some of the investment deals are like truck drivers or people that are never really here for a specific time. So that's the main thing of why communication is so vital, because if I see that situation, I'm jumping on there. I'm going to tell the escrow team, but I'm not an escrow officer, I'm VP of sales. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call them and get to know them and figure out where they're going to be at their next stop for how long, and see if we can facilitate that notary there as well. But obviously, the mobile notaries in general and mobile closings, I do a lot of them.
Okay, that's good to know.
I would say I do a ton of them,
Okay.
especially on the investment side.
Okay.
Right.
That's where really people don't care about getting the picture
They're a
done.
little bit more dry,
celebrate.
like business oriented.
Yeah.
Right. Let's
Now
get
you
this
buy
done.
you buy an $800,000 house, $1 million house, you're going to a damn title company.
Yeah. 100%.
I'd be surprised if you don't want to.
Right.
Right.
What do you do you guys have anything else?
Got anything else?
Should we hit into the trivia?
Yeah, we can hit into some trivia.
Let's get into some fucking.
Should we do Texas?
I did Rhode Island.
You got to
Okay.
do Rhode Island, bro.
I did
I'm probably
Rhode
not even know this.
I know you might not, but all right.
Here we go.
It's time for trivia.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, so yes, for y'all that didn't catch it or didn't know, Dylan is from Rhode Island, so we're gonna do some Rhode Island trivia for him and
Okay.
see how well he knows his home state.
Now
gonna-
it's
I'm
like
gonna learn
30
some
miles long, so I'm probably still gonna get things wrong, but it's okay.
There's some easy ones in here. There's some of the ones I even know.
It's
so
the Ocean
hopefully-
State. Give me that question.
What is the capital of Rhode Island?
Providence.
Okay. What year did Rhode Island become a state?
Oh, I know that off the back of my hand, dude. Yeah, I have no clue.
Random guess.
I'm gonna go a guess. So
Think about the witches.
1836.
Is that a guess?
That's a guess.
You're
That's
not.
a guess.
No, it's wrong. But you want to
Charles-
guess?
Okay, I have a question about it. Is it higher or lower than that?
Lower.
It's lower.
I would say like I don't even know if they. I'd say like 1755.
Oh, close.
1790.
Wow. Impressive.
Now
What famous university is located in Providence, Rhode Island?
I believe it's CCRI. If it's URI,
Hold on. Give him one more guess.
it's not CCRI or URI.
No.
Oh, Brown.
Yes.
Oh,
there you
yes.
go.
Oh, my
yes.
bad. My bad, man. Told you I get some shit wrong.
Here you go. You already answered
Give
this
him
one.
5. Give him 5 just to see where he's at.
What ocean borders Rhode Island to the south?
You need to cut this. I should know that. You need to cut
that was
this. You
gonna be an easy
need to
one.
cut this right now. That's the Atlantic.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I knew it. I knew that all the way, Charles.
He's like, I know geography.
That's actually my.
Which
my
popular
weak-
American dish is said to have originated in Rhode Island? and
Definitely lobster. It has to be like a
I
lobster
wasn't
roll.
done-
Lobster
I
roll.
wasn't done with my question. This might
Oh.
help you.
Sorry.
All right, man.
Made with clams, potatoes, and broth.
Oh,
Clam chowder. all
Clam
that,
chowder.
Yeah.
chowder.
See, you know what's funny though, man, is that I eat no seafood, and I'm from Rhode Island, like the
Really?
seafood state. I've
Why?
tried everything. It tastes like crap.
You just don't like seafood?
It tastes awful. It's sushi, awful.
Love sushi.
Oh, I love sushi.
I don't eat onions, tomatoes, mostly all in peppers, dressing. I hate it all.
And you're one of those guys.
I,
Okay.
I like
okay.
it. My boss was making fun of me this morning. I like bacon, egg, and cheese in the morning. I like a regular sandwich, just a bunch of meats, lettuce, cheese, and then I like a crazy little dinner action.
What's your crazy dinner?
Does
Well, my girlfriend's a badass
Does she
cook.
cut off the crust for you on your sandwiches?
If I asked my girlfriend to, she would. She would.
Megan, I don't know how you put up with him, man. Oh.
What's her
I
go-to
had
dish?
short ribs last night. And
Ooh.
yeah, she's a badass. And she literally cut the fat off the short ribs for me.
Oh my gosh, you got to keep her.
Yeah, I mean,
She's a Texas Tech girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She went to tech?
she did.
Oh,
Did.
that's where I went.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in the same class, but we didn't know each other.
Oh, look at you.
All right, last one. Which U.S. founding document did Rhode Island refuse to sign until,
come
it was
on, man.
until it was the last of the original 13
on.
colonies to
Is
ratify it?
Is it like a?
Don't overthink it.
Don't
Is it
overthink
a
it.
declaration?
No.
No.
I mean, that was not overthinking.
The U.S. Constitution.
Oh, okay.
Hey, that was pretty good. We learned a little bit about Rhode Island.
You answered this one, and I'll throw this in there to make you feel good on since I gave you a hard one. So
That
it
was
too hard.
that was
It was too
probably
hard
not
for
hard for
you.
many
You
people.
already answered this one.
Said we got to cut.
What
What
is
is-
Rhode Island's official nickname?
I don't know, dude.
You said it.
It's the Ocean State.
There
baby.
you go. There you go.
It is a beautiful ocean.
Okay, let me hit him with like 2 or 3 Texas ones that I know.
Let's see what we got here.
Okay, what's the official state dance of Texas?
I am the worst dancer on the planet. I would not know that one.
Okay, well, take a wild guess if you know anything.
I can't even. I'm gonna say a stupid one here. I can't even. I'm gonna say disco, bro.
No.
I don't have a fucking. I don't
It's
have
okay.
any idea.
It's the square dancing. It's all right. Now you'll know.
Is that like the line dancing?
Yeah, it's like square dancing.
Oh,
Yes,
like
they're all,
the electric cowboy. and
yeah,
all
yeah,
that
stuff like that.
Yeah,
We also got
yes.
the 2-step and stuff. All right, I'm gonna just do 2 more. One of them is kind of fucking hard, but the other one's decent. What's our official vegetable here?
He doesn't like vegetables.
No, he does like vegetables.
Is
seafood.
an avocado considered a fruit?
I don't know.
That's
I would say that. I know, but that's
It's
very
a normal
popular
vegetable.
thing.
You said it earlier. You said it earlier.
So I know I didn't say tomatoes earlier.
You did.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
It's onions.
Oh my, absolute! I should have known that.
Yeah, you should have
So
known
you know
that.
what's
Man.
so
Come on.
funny about onions is that like my family in Rhode Island, let's say like on my dad's side is like, let's say 60 deep.
Uh-huh.
My grandma is the only person that eats onions.
What?
My grandpa, Big John from Big John Leyden's
Big
Christmas
John
tree
Leyden. Shout out.
Shout him
and
out.
he was in the military or army for a long time, and he was the only person the whole time he had a specific no onions, no peppers on his food. The
Really?
whole time he was there.
I love onions and
I
peppers.
absolutely wish I did because onions are fucking everything.
I love
I
onions, man.
love me some onions.
I love my favorite thing is like empanadas.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like beef empanadas. I could eat them freaking lunch, dinner, but they always have onions in them.
Go to Muchachos.
No, they're not going to make them without onions in them.
You can request there.
I have tried.
At Muchachos?
I'm going to call these people.
Call Muchachos.
Have you been to Key
Live
West?
call.
Yeah.
I love Key West.
Yeah. I'm going there again in
They got really good seafood
September.
there.
Bachelor party.
Do we have time for a story?
Yeah.
Yeah, give us a story.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll talk about my bachelor trip to
Okay.
Key West. It was in the PGest version possible.
Okay.
So it's funny is I got the group of my boys, like my college friends, for like there was probably 14 of us out there. It was a crazy.
Rolling deep.
We rented like all those cool things. You like not ATVs, but they're similar.
Jet
to
skis?
No. The
Oh,
thing,
you mean-
the thing to drive around out there? They're not like cars. You know what I'm
Like a
talking
dune
about.
buggy type deal?
Sure. Let's say dune buggy. I like
Okay.
that. That sounds better.
Okay.
So we're all hanging out, blah blah, and then we're so excited. We have this like we reserved a boat out there, and so like it's beautiful sunny skies. I have the worst hangover of my entire life. I'm throwing up left and right. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I magically beat this hangover like 5 minutes because they had. I don't know if anyone here. The one thing about Texas I hate, we don't have Publix here. Publix. We need a
We
Publix.
talked about that last
It's
time.
the
never
best
been.
place on the freaking world.
It's amazing.
So I can eat anything there. So anyway, so that my boy brought 20 Publix sandwiches on it. So I filled my stomach up. I'm feeling it. So on this situation it's just a boat, 2 bartenders, and 14 of us. And right before we take off, this guy, I swear to freaking God, he is Captain Jack Sparrow. I have pictures of this guy I will literally send to you so you can post this. So this is all a factual story that I can prove. So Jack was not, I'm calling him Captain Jack. I don't
Call
know
him
his
Cap
fucking
Jack.
name, dude. So Captain Jack was not, he doesn't go on the boat. There's another driver. But there was apparently a chance for a storm. So they're like, Captain Jack, get on the boat. You know, you stay hanging out. So we're all hanging out, and the whole thing is everyone wants to go somewhere to swim. So we had the boat ride was like an hour long to go to somewhere you can swim.
Right.
And did you do this?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay. But it was like an hour long because there's lots of freaking sharks out there. You know?
Right.
So you got to be in a really specific area. And I'm telling you one thing, I don't fuck with sharks.
Yeah, neither
I'm
do
not
I.
dying
No.
for a damn shark.
No,
I don't
fuck
go
no.
scuba diving, nothing like that.
Nope.
Yeah, no
Me
thank you.
neither.
I like pools.
I like above ground.
Yeah, I like pools. So we're out there, and obviously, as you can tell, we had 20 bottles of alcohol and 14 people, so you can do the math there and how hammered we all got.
Getting a little fucked up.
Yeah, we were definitely not a little bit. We were hammered, you know. And so we're out there. We go swimming, and I'm like, "So how long do we have?" I'm talking to Captain Jack. He goes, "Oh, you got 45 minutes." I'm talking about within 2 minutes. He is screaming, get back on the boat, get back on the boat. And so everyone's like going back to the boat, but my boys are like so nonchalant. I'm like thinking, this guy looking scared. Get on the fucking boat.
yeah.
I'm screaming louder than Jack. I'm like, just get on the boat, get on the boat. So literally, I'm talking about the sky changed from where it is right now to a little tornado sky, like a hurricane sky, within minutes. And we have such a long ride back, bro.
And you're offshore. You're like,
We're far out,
oh
bro.
gosh, that's
and
scary.
so what happened was, so everyone get back in the boat, and all of a sudden in 5 minutes the rain is coming. So it's not a sealed boat. It's like it is top sealed, but the sides are wide open, bro. So they have all this like snorkeling gear, all this. Everyone had to put on gear because the rain was going so hard against your skin.
Shit.
It actually hurt like crazy.
No
so
way.
we're all laying down, and then we separated into two groups of guys that we had. So one group thought their lives were over. I was part of that group. The other group was like, yo, this is awesome, bro. I'm like, I'll fucking kill you. I'll kill you. Like, fuck you guys, you know? Like, you guys suck, you know? So the boat, I'm talking about, so it starts going like this. Starts going, bang, bang. And I'm like, dude, I am, like, the ladies start crying. The bartenders are crying. They grab a bottle and they hand it to everyone. The captain gets on, I swear, he goes, drink like it's your last drink.
Oh my
I am
God.
like freaking out. I'm like, call the fucking Coast Guard. Call somebody. What are you doing? Jack rips off his shirt like this, bro. Goes to the front of it and he's like, left, right.
It's like Lieutenant Dan.
Bro, I have never seen anything like this. This guy is like, and he had that like he had a shark tooth, like a gold chain.
He's like Lieutenant Dan from
Wait,
Forrest Gump.
what was he pointing at?
Like move the boat left, move the boat right. Like he's helping it because it's going like this,
because he's trying
bro.
to see where to go. Okay.
Bro, the boat was going so up and
I
down.
know exactly what you mean by that, where it goes
And
up
then
and
here's
slams the wall.
where my heart just lost it. They saw a fucking shark.
Oh God.
Dude,
You're like,
I am literally
gonna
like,
go
I
down.
am never. I'm religious. I'm Catholic, right?
me too.
But I have never been more religious in my life in that period of 30 minutes.
You're like,
that I was.
we're gonna crash out.
I'm
I'm gonna
telling
get
you that,
eaten
like,
by a shark.
I was 100% certain that the boat was capsizing.
It was gonna go.
It
literally
was
sink.
so. The craziest thing is after so we finally it obviously evens out. I'm alive today, as you can
Obviously you can see.
right? So, but right.
He's here. He's here.
Not AI. But so when we finally get over there, I'm like just angry. I'm just so angry. I'm like,
Right.
why the hell did you guys let us come on?
Right.
Everyone else was like, oh,
That
I'm like,
was
no.
insane.
I'm like, dude, that's not insane. It was insane. We almost died from a fucking boat trip. So I'm like asking him. I'm like, and so Captain Jack obviously had nothing to do with you. So I said, just talk to me. I said, scale 1. He goes 10. He cut me off. He goes 10. Worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. He goes, that was crazy. And I'm just thinking to myself, why? And I just asked. I said, why did we get let out?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it was just a chance. So it was a hurricane.
No way.
A small hurricane or something that hit us while we were out there, bro. All of a sudden, I'm like, you guys didn't know a fucking hurricane
Oh
was
my
coming?
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't like a huge one, but it was on like a
Yeah,
major storm
right.
on the water.
Well, yeah, you're out in the middle of the water.
That's their job.
Yeah.
Right.
That is wild, man.
Crazy.
And
Wait,
when you
glad
see the
survived.
boat, when you just see the boat, it just looks like a friggin'. It's not like
Yeah, like a
sturdy-
catamaran
Yeah,
type.
it's not a
Yeah.
sturdy boat out there.
Oh
at all.
my
I'm
gosh.
glad you survived, Dylan.
I think we're gonna just.
And you know the best part about all this? First thing I'm thinking about when I get off, I'm like, my family, my
Right.
girl, all that. I said, babe, blah, blah. She goes, oh, you're fine.
I'm like, you don't understand,
No,
don't
I
know
just
what
hung
I
up.
just
I was so
went
pissed.
through.
I'm like, you have no idea what I just went through.
dude.
I have a picture of it I'll send it to you when I find it. It's like I have a picture from the little island that we were on. My buddy took it, and the sky is already that black, and we're not even on the freaking boat yet.
Dude, I literally.
Good thing you didn't go on that boat.
I'm going to stay at the Airbnb with the boys and just chill by the beach.
Do not do
And
what
I'm
I
not-
did.
I'm not gonna get on any charter for any.
Do not
reason.
get it. Dude, it's not safe.
It's not worth it. Not worth
There-
it.
there's
Fuck that.
You know what the craziest thing is? When I first got on that boat, there's another guy that came on. He's like, just don't worry, anyone. It never happens. You'll be on TV. The Coast Guard will get there. And I'm like, where the fuck was the Coast Guard?
I don't want to deal with them.
They have big boats.
Yeah.
Come over here and
Help
give us a
me.
big boat.
Where's the beacon thing signal?
Oh man. Yeah,
That's
they
wild.
did no flare, but it was just crazy because midway through he grabbed my buddy this is a beautiful shirt. I'm not gonna yank it, but he grabbed him by the actual shirt, pulled him up, and he said, "Play some fucking music right now and chill this mood out." And I'm like, You're not gonna show me out.
I bet it was
Give me
loud as
back,
shit too.
Give me back to shore.
It was, dude. I'll be completely honest with you. I was literally tucked with 3 of my buddies underneath, pretty much like freaking out for our lives.
Yeah. How long did it last?
At least 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
And
you
30
lived-
of those minutes were really, really
Hard.
like.
Yeah.
I would never in my. I'd rather go to jail.
Yeah. That sounds terrible.
I'd rather
You
spend
lived
the
to
day in
tell
jail.
the story. That's all that matters.
That's a cool ass story.
I
though.
will tell you, it was a cool story, but in that moment was not cool at all.
You lived to tell it, and you got to be on Real Deals, Real
the
Talk.
good news is I got 70% back.
Okay. That's nice.
But the
There you
funny
go.
thing is, I was the only one talking for the 14 guys.
Yeah.
They were out drinking right afterwards.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
like,
you were the
my
guy-
day is ruined.
you
I'm
were the
alive.
business. You were the business guy in the group.
Oh, I was like, you guys are crazy.
Love it. Love it.
Damn,
Hey,
you guys heard a crazy story here first.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you survived and you got to come on our podcast and you lived to see the day, man. That's all that matters, Dylan.
no,
Glad you're here, man.
no beaches here unless you go to Galveston. So
Hey, exactly. No one wants to go there.
no one wants to
anyways.
go to fucking Galveston anyways.
But
Key West
Dylan,
is a beautiful area. Though.
Yeah.
we appreciate your fun stories. Appreciate you coming on, man. It was a good time. I hope you all learned some more about title. And if you need a title guy, hit up Dylan. He's great.
I will take great care of you. I
24-hour closings. Remember, guys.
24 hours.
Ignore that part, but I am always available. I'm 7 days a week.
Yes, he's available all the time for y'all. He always, every time I call him, he answers. If he doesn't, he's back
I'm
at it.
purposely
He's back
ignoring
at it.
him when I don't answer those calls.
Plug
That's not true. Every time I call, he goes, "I always answer for you, baby girl."
plug in anything you want to plug in if you have socials or anything.
Yeah, what's your social?
Yeah, just D Leyden, Texas for Insta. Really all you need to know. My first name, Dylan Leyden for Facebook. Those are my 2 things I use mainly.
There you go, and we'll put them in the description in the bio.
Yes, sir.
And we'll be back on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Peace,
give me a
guys.
shot on your next deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You heard it first.
Will do.
All right, peace.
Peace, guys.
Peace.